KR King of D&D Homebrew, talking today about the ultimate secret of running a non-linear sandbox campaign, which is to think about consequences as opposed to solutions. Because solutions come in things like a video game where you're trying to get to the end, the ultimate level, or wherever you find your way through and the game is over. Or a mystery type game where the players are investigating something to figure out some secret, and confront some final enemy, just like in a module or something like that, or a linear campaign where there's clearly a storyline. Whatever way you go, it keeps coming back to a battle with some supervillain or the discovery of the secret to the world, something like that. Now, that's not to say there are no consequences in video games, modules, mysteries. But if a video game, if you screw up, your character will be killed. Same thing in a mystery game. Not only can you get killed, perhaps, but if you don't get the right clues, you're screwed, right? You've got to go through and find this out. Or if you get to the final thing and you don't have the right items, you can't possibly win. Modules have this, whatever. Consequences are there, but it's not the ultimate aspect of it. There's still some prescribed solution. Whereas the nonlinear sandbox, there is no solution. There is no secret. It's just the consequences of the player's actions. And in that way, it mirrors real life, which is just one damn thing after another, right? Because as Kierkegaard said, the famous Danish philosopher, life is lived forwards, but learned backwards. So, for example, 20 years ago, I don't think anyone would have predicted the state of politics in the United States in 2024, or many other countries as well. But in the future, historians are going to chart out and see what happened and how we got to this spot today. And just like GMs and players go over, whether it's a session or many sessions of a nonlinear sandbox and talk about all the things that happen as a result of the player's actions. And the thing is, historians can disagree about what these links are. They still argue today about the origins of World War I. The only certainty is that the war occurred and that it had consequences. Consequences that few people could have predicted right after the war ended, and that historians might argue about. Would these things have occurred if there hadn't been a war? Or is the war just part of what? There's other factors involved? Or is it just random things that occur and come up with some general consequence? And this randomness of history is very unsatisfactory to people because they want solutions. They do want an ultimate solution or reason that the world exists. This is why historically people have ascribed divine intervention for most of the events that occur in the world. Because we have a solution. We know the ultimate reality of the situation, and we're going to fit those events to fit that reality. And again, we get the more modern view of this solution-based thing with conspiracy theories, but that's another video. All right, so we're saying we're going to build our world with a chain of consequences based on what the player's actions are. And then what's important is you need to throw some randomness in there, because even you as the GM, you don't really know, in my opinion, what the NPCs, monsters, whatever, are going to do to react to the player's actions. I have a video out about using dice to forward the story. I'll put a link up here. But I think this is really important, and we'll see why. So let's say you have some pirates that are preying on shipping in your. And the players find out about this in whether they're investigating. They always go into their tavern and say, well, do we hear anything that's going on or whatever? If you want to have somebody say this to them, they've got some renown and some merchants come to them, that's okay. What I wouldn't necessarily do is have the players, one of the players' best friends was on this merchant vessel and was kidnapped. Either held hostages or just disappeared. That's a little railroading. But again, that's up to you. But the players hear about this. What do they do? Here's the thing. If the players decide to ignore this, there are consequences. The pirates might continue to just ravage shipping, right? Or they might move somewhere else, kind of disappear. The pickings are slim here, let's go there. Or another force might gather, other adventurer types or the military or something, and defeat the pirates and get all their loot. And depending on how many of these potential consequences you think of, those are 3, I could just do 1d3 and say, oh, that's what happened. But I would give odds to this randomness, right? I might say pirates being pirates, they're just going to keep going. So I might say a 50% chance they just keep doing what pirates do. 25% chance they go somewhere else. 25% chance a force is gathered and wipes them out. Right? And as the players are off doing whatever they're doing, but that's the consequence of them doing nothing. But there is no way that I'm going to say there's just 100% chance that pirates being pirates, that's what they do. Because how the hell would I know what pirates do? How the hell would I know what the result of every football game this Sunday is? I may know the odds. I may bet the odds. But I guarantee you there's going to be at least 1 or 2 upsets. That's how it works. The only thing I know is there's going to be consequences, right? If a team loses, they go down in the standings. The players do things, and it changes the world. And then those consequences build on other ones. So let's just say the players say, well, we're going to engage the pirates. Well, what do they do? Are there survivors of these pirate attacks? Like they just get on board, take the loot, and leave the merchants alone? They can interview them. Are they all killed? Do the ships just disappear? And as they're investigating, do the pirates have spies in town that see, hey, this group of adventurers who might have a lot of renown, depending on their level, they're looking into this. How do the pirates react? Do they decide to lay low for a while? Let's move farther down the coast because we're getting a little heat up here. Let's say the players try to keep it very secretive, right? They find out about a merchant ship and they're going to hide on there. And they're going to try to lure the pirates out and then attack them. Now, if the pirates don't realize that the players are trying to lure them out, but they see them getting on this ship, do they avoid it because of what I talked about? Or do they go, there must be something really valuable on that ship. We should attack it. But knowing the players are there, are these high-level adventurers, they're going to attack with all their ships to try to, tilt the odds. But let's say the players are very secretive. They sneak on board. They're going to just lure the pirates out with a standard merchant ship. The pirates attack. What happens? What are the consequences? Well, let's say that the pirates usually use arrow fire, ballistas, whatever. They soften up the ship and say surrender. Do the players just lay low and wait till the pirates board? Do they attack them with arrow fire and spell fire? Because if they do the latter, how do the pirates react? Holy crap, there's people with spells on there. Maybe we just better call this on a day. Or again, there must be something valuable. And if the pirates have boarded and the players start fighting them, do the players easily defeat this group of pirates? Now what do? Do they just kill all the pirates? Or do they keep one as a hostage? Do you ask pirates to surrender? What are the odds of that? Well, piracy is a capital crime, right? You surrender, you're going to get hung. So they might want to fight to the death, but depending on your system, the players use non-lethal attacks. They knock one out. Now they're going to investigate. Or if they're smart, they knock 2 out. Separate them, question them, figure out if they can discern the lies from the truth. And so let's say they figure out where the pirate base is and they get all the pirates. And they get all the treasure, whatever. What are the consequences of that? Is there just a new group of pirates that rise up? Do the pirates have anyone on shore, their spy, who knows what the players did and tries to get, revenge? Are the seas just safe for a while? There's none. Or is there a secret patron of these pirates who is doing this for political reasons and they want revenge? Because that's more powerful. And in each case, you're constantly having these consequences come from the player's actions and then using some randomness to determine them. And these odds are within reason, right? If the players do something especially egregious and the authorities are going to get mad, there's not much of a chance that it's not going to happen. But again, I would always say when I hit a golf ball, I have a tendency to slice. When I do things by fiat, if I just say, oh, that's certain, or that would never happen, I have a tendency to do certain things that way. When you roll for things, even if you do a low chance and you roll it, now you got to figure out why that happened. It's an unexpected consequence. And those are the most interesting. If this hadn't happened and they hadn't reacted this way and then that happened and the players are reacting and all these things, those are the things you talk about, the players and the GM after the fact, that are really fascinating. And that's what makes the nonlinear sandbox, for me, the most satisfying way to play an RPG game. I just like that. Others don't. Others find it burdensome as a GM. Sometimes the players don't like the consequences that occur. even if you tell them there's a certain randomness to it. But again, I think it's the best way to play. And I would encourage you to try that, to think that through, not to think solution-based, think consequence-based. And again, a shout out to my Patreon supporters. Guys, I really appreciate your support. I love making material, my PDFs and my videos, and I'm going to keep making more. And to everyone watching, thank you so much. Like it, give a comment. Love to hear your opinion on this. There's people that say there's no such thing as a sandbox. Another video perhaps. But most importantly, keep playing an RPG game, whichever one you choose, and tell somebody else about it.